The space station floated like a giant metal flower in the darkness between stars. It was called Peace Harbor, and it was the only place in the galaxy where different alien races could meet without fighting. Today was special. Representatives from 12 different worlds had come here to sign a new treaty. Commander walked through the main hall, checking security. He was a human from Earth, 32 years old with dark hair and calm brown eyes, wore the blue uniform of the Galactic Diplomatic Corps. His job was to keep everyone safe during the peace talks. The hall was full of strange beings. There were the who looked like walking trees with too many arms. The floated in water-filled suits, their tentacles waving behind the glass. Near the center of the room stood the most beautiful creatures had ever seen. They were their skin looked like living crystal that glowed with soft light. When they moved, colors danced under their skin like aurora in the night sky. They were tall and thin, with large eyes that sparkled like gems. They were known throughout the galaxy for being very smart and having amazing technology, but they were also known for being weak in body. Watched as Princess moved through the crowd. She was the daughter of the Emperor and the most important person at the peace talks. Her skin glowed with pale blue and silver light. When she smiled, which she did often, her whole face lit up like a star. The princess was talking to different aliens, learning about their cultures. The loved knowledge more than anything else. They collected facts about other races like humans collected stamps. Princess was especially curious about humans. Stayed close but not too close. His job was to protect everyone, but he had to be careful not to insult anyone. Some aliens thought guards were rude. Others thought guards were necessary. It was a difficult balance. The princess noticed watching her. She walked over to him with graceful steps. Up close, he could see that her eyes were like liquid mercury, constantly shifting and changing. "You are the human security officer," she said. Her voice sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "I have read much about your species, but I have never spoken to one of you before." Nodded politely. "Yes, Your Highness, I am Commander. I hope you are enjoying the ceremony." "I am fascinated by humans," she continued. "Your species is so young, yet you have already joined the galactic community. Tell me, is it true that humans will fight to protect strangers?" The question surprised. "Well, yes. Most humans believe in helping others, even people we don't know." Princess' skin brightened with interest. "But why? What do you gain from helping strangers? There is no logical benefit." Before could answer, he heard a sound that made his blood turn cold. It was the high whine of a charging plasma bomb. His training kicked in instantly. He spun around and saw 3 figures in black masks near the wall. They had smuggled weapons past security somehow. Time seemed to slow down. Saw one of the terrorists raise a plasma grenade. The man was aiming it directly at Princess. The blast would kill her instantly and probably take out half the diplomatic delegation with her. Did not think. He did not calculate odds or consider options. Every instinct in his human body screamed one thing: protect the innocent. He threw himself forward, wrapping his arms around the surprised princess and spinning her behind him. At the same moment, the terrorist triggered the grenade. The plasma explosion erupted in a ball of blue-white fire. The blast hit in the back like a hammer made of lightning. The energy tore through his body, burning and destroying. He felt his uniform catch fire. His skin bubbled and cracked. Pain beyond description shot through every nerve. But he held on to Princess. Even as the explosion lifted them both off their feet and sent them flying across the room, kept his body between her and the blast. He would not let go. He could not let go. They hit the floor hard, rolled twice and lay still. Smoke rose from his burned back. His breathing was shallow and ragged. Through the pain and shock, he heard screaming and running feet. Emergency alarms were going off everywhere. Princess knelt beside him. Her beautiful face was twisted with horror and confusion. She had never seen anyone hurt themselves to save another person. In culture, self-preservation was the highest law. What had done was impossible to understand. "Why?" she whispered, her voice shaking. "Why did you do this? You barely know me. I am not even your species." Tried to speak but only managed a whisper. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. "Had to protect you. That's what humans do." His eyes closed and he went limp. Security forces surrounded them. Medical teams rushed in with equipment. The terrorists had been killed by station security, but the damage was done. The peace ceremony was ruined. People were screaming and running in all directions. Princess refused to leave side. Her skin had gone completely white with shock. She watched as human and alien medics worked frantically to save his life. "He is dying," said Doctor, a physician. "The plasma burns are too severe. No known species can survive this level of damage." But Princess noticed something strange. Even though was badly hurt, his body was fighting back in ways the doctors had never seen. His heart kept beating when it should have stopped. His breathing continued even though his lungs were damaged. There was something about humans that the galaxy did not understand. "Take him to my father's medical ship," she ordered. "Use our best healing technology. This human saved my life. We must try to save his." As they carried away on a floating stretcher, Princess stared at the blood on her hands. For the first time in her life, she had seen someone choose to die for a stranger. It changed something deep inside her mind. She began to understand that perhaps they had much to learn about courage. Woke up slowly, like swimming up from the bottom of a deep lake. The first thing he noticed was that he was not dead. The second thing he noticed was that nothing looked familiar. He lay in what appeared to be a crystal cave that glowed with soft light. The walls were smooth and curved, made from some kind of living stone that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Strange machines floated around him, making quiet humming sounds. Tubes and wires connected to his body, but they were unlike any medical equipment he had ever seen. Tried to sit up and was surprised when his body obeyed. He should have been dead. He remembered the plasma explosion, the terrible pain, the feeling of his life slipping away. Yet here he was, very much alive and feeling stronger than he had expected. "Please do not move too quickly," came a familiar voice like wind chimes. Turned his head and saw Princess sitting in a chair beside his bed. Her skin was glowing with worried blue patterns. She looked tired, as if she had not slept in days. "Your Highness," said his voice rough, "are you hurt? Did the terrorists—" "I am unharmed because of you," she interrupted. "You took the full force of the blast. You should be dead." 3 doctors approached the bed. They moved carefully, studying with their large, gem-like eyes. The lead doctor was an elderly with silver patterns under his crystal skin. "This is Dr. N," Princess explained. "He is the finest healer in the Empire. He has been treating you for the past 6 days. Dr. N spoke in a voice that sounded like music. "Human, what you have done should be impossible. The plasma blast delivered enough energy to kill 3 instantly, yet you survived." Looked down at his body. His skin showed signs of healing burns, but they were already fatting. He could see new, pink skin growing where the worst damage had been. "How long was I unconscious?" he asked. 6 days, Dr. N replied. "And in that time, your body has healed at a rate we have never observed in any known species. Your cellular regeneration is remarkable." One of the younger doctors stepped forward. Her name badge read Dr. Ra. "We ran tests on your blood samples," she said excitedly. "Human biology is extraordinary. Your immune system, your bone density, your muscle recovery rate, everything exceeds our models." Felt confused. "I'm just a regular human, nothing special about me." Princess' skin brightened with amazement. "You call this regular? You survived something that would kill any other being in the galaxy, and your first words when you woke up were asking if I was safe. Even now, after nearly dying, you show concern for others." Dr. N nodded slowly. We have studied many species, but humans are unique. Your bodies are designed for survival in ways we do not fully understand. But more than that, your minds seem programmed for sacrifice. The old doctor touched a control, and the floating machines moved away from. You are free to move around, though we recommend staying in the medical wing for observation. Swung his legs over the side of the bed. He felt weak, but not as weak as someone should feel after nearly dying. Where am I exactly? You are on the princess said. My father, Emperor L, ordered that you be brought here for treatment. He wishes to meet you. Looked around the crystal chamber again. Everything was beautiful and strange. The walls seemed to breathe with light, and he could hear what sounded like music coming from somewhere deep in the building. Princess, I need to ask you something, said seriously. Why did you stay with me? You barely know me. Her skin flickered with confused patterns. That is what I have been trying to understand. In culture, we make decisions based on logic and benefit. There is no logical reason for me to care about a stranger, but watching you nearly die for me, it changed something in my thinking. Dr. Ra spoke up. The princess has not left your side since you arrived. She has been asking us many questions about human culture and psychology. Princess' skin glowed brighter, which was beginning to realize meant embarrassment. I wanted to understand why you saved me. In our society, self-preservation is the highest law. We protect our family and our clan, but strangers are not our responsibility. Stood up carefully. His legs felt shaky but strong enough to hold him. Where I come from, we have a saying, no one gets left behind. It means we take care of each other, even people we don't know. But why, she pressed, what do you gain? Thought for a moment. Maybe we don't gain anything. Maybe that's not the point. Maybe we do it because it's right. The doctors exchanged glances. Dr. N made some notes on a floating tablet. Fascinating, he murmured. A species that acts without calculating personal benefit. Princess stood and moved to a large window that looked out over an incredible city. Buildings made of crystal reached toward the sky like frozen music. Flying vehicles moved between them in patterns that looked like dancing light. My father wants to meet you, but he is suspicious of your motives. Many in the royal court believe humans must want something in return for your sacrifice. They think it is all a trick. Joined her at the window. The view was breathtaking, but he focused on what she was saying. What do you think? I think we have much to learn from humans, she said quietly. Our logic is perfect, but it makes us cold. We are efficient, but we have forgotten how to care about others. You showed me something new. Dr. N approached them. There is something else, human. The attack on the peace station was not random. Our intelligence services have learned that it was planned by enemies of the Empire. They wanted to kill Princess to prevent the peace treaty. Felt anger rise in his chest. Who would do such a thing? The hegemony, Princess said, her skin darkening with worry. They are a military empire that profits from war. Peace threatens their power. And now they know about you, Dr. N continued. The human who saved our princess. They will want to study you or eliminate you. Looked out at the beautiful crystal city and then at the princess whose life he had saved. He realized that his simple act of heroism had pulled him into something much larger than he had expected. But as he thought about it, he knew he would make the same choice again. Then I guess we'd better be ready for them, he said. The imperial palace was like nothing had ever imagined. It rose from the planet's surface like a mountain made of living light. Every wall, every floor, every ceiling was crafted from crystal that pulsed with gentle energy. As Princess led him through the corridors, felt like he was walking inside a massive jewel. The palace has been growing for 3,000 years, she explained as they walked. Each emperor adds new chambers. The crystal remembers everything that happens here. Reached out to touch one of the walls. It was warm and seemed to hum under his fingers. It's alive. In a way, yes. Our technology is based on living crystal. It grows, learns, and adapts, very different from your metal and plastic machines. They entered a vast throne room where Emperor El waited. He was an impressive figure, taller than his daughter, with deep purple and gold patterns flowing under his crystal skin. His eyes were ancient and sharp, studying like a scientist examining a new specimen. Around the throne stood members of the royal court. All were with different colors and patterns glowing under their skin. Notice that they were all watching him with curiosity and suspicion. "So this is the human who claims to have no motives," Emperor El said. His voice was deep and musical, but there was steel underneath. "Tell me, what does your Earth want from the Empire?" Bowed slightly, remembering the diplomatic training he had received. "Your Majesty, Earth wants nothing except peaceful relations with all species. I acted alone when I protected your daughter." A courtier with bright red markings stepped forward. "Impossible," he declared. "No species acts without benefit. This human must be part of some larger plan." Princess' skin flashed with angry colors. "Lord, you were not there. You did not see him nearly die for a stranger. There was no time to plan or calculate." Emperor El raised a hand for silence. "Has told me of your actions, human, but I find them difficult to believe. In 3,000 years of history, no one has ever sacrificed themselves for someone outside their family." Stood straight and met the Emperor's gaze. "Your Majesty, I understand your doubt, but humans believe that all intelligent life has value. We protect others because it's the right thing to do, not because we expect rewards." Another courtier, this one with silver markings, laughed coldly. "How inefficient! Such behavior would lead to extinction." "Actually," said carefully, "it has helped us survive. When humans work together and protect each other, we become stronger than any individual could be alone." This caused murmurs throughout the throne room. The prized individual excellence and logical thinking. The idea that cooperation could create strength was foreign to them. Emperor El leaned forward in his crystal throne. "Explain this concept." Thought of examples from human history. When one human is in danger, others come to help, even if they don't know the person. This means every human knows they will be protected, so they can take risks and try new things. It makes our whole species braver and more creative. Princess nodded, her skin glowing with understanding. "Like how you protected me. You took a risk because you knew it was right, not because you calculated the benefits." "Exactly," said. "And because humans know others will do the same for them, we are willing to explore, to fight for what's right, to push beyond our limits." Dr. N, who had been quietly observing from the side of the room, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, I have been studying human biology and psychology. Their species appears to be naturally designed for this kind of cooperation. Their brain chemistry actually rewards them for helping others." Lorden scoffed. "Primitive emotional responses. Logic is superior to feelings." Shook his head. "But feelings guide our logic toward good purposes. Without compassion, intelligence becomes cold and cruel." The throne room fell silent as everyone considered this. For the logic was everything. They made all decisions based on calculations and efficiency, but was suggesting that emotions could actually improve decision-making. Princess spoke into the silence. "Father, since has been here, I have been thinking differently. I find myself caring about people I have never met. I worry about the servants and guards, not just because they serve us, but because they are individuals with their own lives and dreams." Emperor El's skin patterns shifted to show surprise. "This human has affected your thinking that much?" "Yes, Father, and I believe it has made me a better leader. When I care about people as individuals, I make better decisions for everyone." Saw an opportunity to share something important. "Your Majesty, humans have a saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. We believe that taking care of everyone makes the whole group stronger." Lorden was about to object when an urgent alarm sounded throughout the palace. Guards rushed into the throne room as communication devices activated. "Your Majesty," the head of palace security announced, "we are receiving reports from our border worlds. The hegemony has launched attacks on 3 systems. They claim the peace treaty is invalid because of the terrorist attack." Emperor El rose from his throne, his skin darkening with anger and worry. "How many ships?" "A full battle fleet, Your Majesty. Our commanders say they are using new tactics we have not seen before. They seem to be targeting our crystal technology specifically." Felt ice form in his stomach. "They're coming for revenge because I saved the princess." Princess moved closer to him. "No, intelligence reports show they have been planning this attack for months. The assassination attempt was meant to make us weak and confused before the real attack began." Dr. N stepped forward with a worried expression. "Your Majesty, our military has always relied on superior technology and careful planning, but they use brute force and aggression. They are willing to take risks and accept losses that we would never consider logical." Suddenly understood something important. "Your Majesty, that's exactly why you need human help. The fight like humans do with courage and determination, but they fight for conquest and power. We fight for protection and justice." Emperor El looked at with new interest. "You think human military knowledge could help us?" "I think human spirit could help you," replied. "Your soldiers are smart and well-trained, but they fight like individuals. Humans fight like a family protecting their home." Princess' skin glowed bright with excitement. "Father is right. When he saved me, he did not think about tactics or odds. He just acted to protect someone he cared about. That kind of determination could change everything." The emperor studied for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "I am beginning to understand why my daughter believes humans are special. Perhaps it is time for them to learn something new." As alarms continued to sound and reports of attacks came in, realized that his simple act of heroism had set events in motion that would change the galaxy forever. The war room in the Imperial Palace buzzed with activity. Holographic displays showed star maps where red dots marked attacks. The enemy was moving faster than anyone had expected. 3 colonies had already fallen, and their fleets were advancing toward the stood beside Princess and Emperor El, studying the battle reports. The news was not good. Forces were retreating on all fronts, confused by tactics they had never encountered before. "They do not fight logically," complained Admiral K, the head of the military. His crystal skin showed dark blue patterns of frustration. "They attack even when outnumbered. They sacrifice ships for no strategic benefit. It makes no sense." Looked at the tactical displays and recognized something familiar. "Admiral, they're not fighting without logic. They're using human-style warfare." Emperor El turned to him. "Explain." "They have been studying humans," said, pointing to the battle formations on the display. "Look at these attack patterns. They're willing to take losses to achieve objectives. They use aggression and surprise instead of just superior firepower." Princess studied the displays with her intelligent eyes. "But they lack what makes human fighting truly effective, don't they? They fight for conquest, not protection." Nodded. "Exactly. Humans fight hardest when we're defending something we love. The fight for power and glory. That's strong, but not as strong as fighting for family and home." Admiral K's skin patterns shifted to show interest. "You think our soldiers could learn to fight with this emotional strength?" "Not just emotional," corrected. "Humans fight smart when we fight for the right reasons. We take risks that seem crazy but actually make sense because we understand what we're really fighting for." Emperor El made a decision that surprised everyone. "I am appointing you as a military advisor. Work with Admiral K to train our forces in human tactics." The next few weeks were intense. Found himself in training facilities across the empire, teaching soldiers concepts that seemed alien to them. The crystal beings were naturally logical and careful. The idea of charging into danger to protect others was as foreign to them as flying would be to a fish. But Princess helped bridge the gap. She had been deeply affected by sacrifice and understood human thinking better than any other. Together, they developed new training methods. "Imagine that the enemy is threatening your home city," told a group of pilots. "Not just the strategic value of the city, but the actual people living there. Your families, your friends, the shopkeepers you see every day. Now imagine you're the only one who can stop the enemy from reaching them." The pilot's skin patterns shifted as they tried to understand this emotional approach to warfare. It was difficult for beings raised on pure logic. Princess added her own perspective. "When saved me, he did not calculate odds or consider alternatives. He saw someone in danger and acted instantly. That speed of decision gave him an advantage no amount of planning could provide." Slowly, the military began to change. Officers learned to make quick decisions based on instinct as well as logic. Soldiers practiced working together as teams instead of individuals. Most importantly, they began to understand what they were really fighting for. The test came when they launched their main assault on a massive fleet of dark, angular ships dropped out of hyperspace near. Their vessels looked like mechanical sharks, built for destruction rather than the elegant efficiency favored by the stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship alongside Princess. She had insisted on joining the defense fleet, applying the human concept that leaders should share the risks of those they command. "Fleet approaching," reported the communications officer. "They are demanding our surrender." Admiral K looked to Emperor L, who had remained on the planet to coordinate ground defenses. The Emperor's image appeared on the main screen. "Admiral, you have your orders. Protect our people." The battle began with the using their standard overwhelming assault. Their ships charged forward in tight formations, hopping to break through lines through sheer aggression. But the fleet had learned new tactics. Instead of fighting each ship individually, they worked in coordinated groups. When one ship was threatened, others moved to protect it. They took calculated risks to save their comrades, something they had never done before. "Dragon Squadron, one of our ships is damaged," called over the communication system. He was coordinating tactics from the flagship. "Who can assist?" "We can reach them," replied Captain L, "but it will put us in danger from enemy fire." "Captain, there are 300 on that ship," Princess said firmly. 300 people with families waiting for them to come home." Captain L's voice changed, becoming determined in a way recognized from human soldiers. "Understood, Your Highness. Dragon Squadron moving to assist." The battle continued for hours. They had superior numbers, but they fought with new courage and determination. Ships that would have retreated before now stayed to protect damaged allies. Pilots took risks to save others that would have seemed impossible weeks earlier. The turning point came when they deployed their secret weapon, a massive battleship with a cannon that could destroy entire cities. It was heading directly for the capital. "That ship will reach the planet in 20 minutes, Admiral K reported. "Our weapons cannot penetrate its shields." Studied the enemy battleship and saw a possibility. "Admiral, what if a small ship could get inside their shield perimeter?" "Suicide," the Admiral replied. "The radiation from their weapon would kill anyone who got that close." Princess turned to, "You have a plan?" Nodded. "Someone needs to fly a ship loaded with explosives directly into their weapon. It would destroy the battleship, but..." He did not need to finish. "It would also kill whoever piloted the ship." "I will do it," Princess said immediately. Shook his head. "No, this is exactly what humans are good at. Impossible missions that require someone willing to sacrifice everything for others." "No," she protested. "You almost died once saving me. I will not let you do it again." Smiled at her, the same calm smile he had worn when he first threw himself in front of the plasma blast. Your Highness, this is what humans do. We protect the people we care about. 20 minutes later, piloted a small fighter ship loaded with explosives toward the massive battleship. Enemy fire rained around him, but ships fought desperately to clear him a path, risking their own lives to protect his mission. As he approached the enemy weapon, spoke over the communication system one last time. This is for everyone who cannot protect themselves. This is what humans fight for. The explosion lit up space like a new star. When the light faded, the battleship was gone, and with it their ability to destroy cities. Demoralized and leaderless, the remaining enemy fleet retreated. But was gone too, lost in the explosion that saved. The crystal walls of the medical chamber glowed with worried blue light as Princess paced back and forth. 3 days had passed since the battle, and she had not left the healing facility. The victory over the felt empty when the person who had made it possible was gone. Dr. N entered the chamber with several other medical staff. Their skin patterns showed excitement and disbelief. "Princess," the old doctor said, his voice trembling with amazement, "we found him." Spun around, her skin flashing bright with hope. "But that's impossible. The explosion." "A rescue ship found an emergency pod drifting near the battle site," Dr. N explained. "It was badly damaged, but the life support was still functioning. Barely." They brought her to another healing chamber where lay unconscious, connected to dozens of crystal medical devices. His body was covered with burns and injuries, but he was breathing steadily. "How did he survive?" she asked. Dr. Ra stepped forward, consulting her medical tablet. "He ejected from his fighter just before impact. The explosion caught him anyway, but the emergency pod's shields protected him from the worst of it. Any other species would have died from the radiation exposure alone." Princess sat down beside his bed, just as she had weeks earlier when he first saved her life. "Will he live?" "He is healing even faster than before," Dr. N said with wonder. "Human resilience continues to amaze us. He should recover completely within a few days." When finally opened his eyes, Princess was there waiting for him. Her skin was glowing with relief and joy. "Did we win?" asked weakly. She laughed, a sound like crystal bells ringing. "Yes, we won. The fleet retreated after you destroyed their battleship, but you nearly died again." Managed a small smile. "Nearly doesn't count. Besides, someone had to do it." "That is exactly what my father wants to discuss with you," she said. 2 days later, found himself in the throne room again, but this time the atmosphere was completely different. The courtiers who had been suspicious before now looked at him with respect and gratitude. Emperor L stood up from his crystal throne and walked down to meet personally. The emperor said formally, "You have twice risked your life for the people, first for my daughter, then for our entire world. No one in our history has shown such courage." "Bowed, Your Majesty, I was just doing what felt right. And that is exactly why I want to offer you something unprecedented," Emperor L continued. "I am inviting humanity to join the Empire as full partners, not subjects, equal voices in all decisions." The throne room buzzed with surprised murmurs. Such an offer had never been made to any species before. "Furthermore," the Emperor continued, "I want you to serve as the first human ambassador to the court. You will help us understand your people and help your people understand us." Looked at Princess, who was glowing with pride and happiness. "Your Majesty, I am honored, but I'm just a security officer. I don't know anything about being a diplomat." Princess stepped forward. "You have already been the perfect diplomat. You showed us what humans are really like through your actions, not just your words." Lord N, who had been one of strongest critics, approached with his skin showing humble purple patterns. "Human, I owe you an apology. I thought your people were trying to deceive us. Instead, you have shown us something we had forgotten." "What's that?" asked. "That strength comes from caring about others. Our military efficiency has improved by 30% since we began using human-inspired tactics. Our soldiers fight harder when they remember who they are protecting." Admiral K joined the conversation. "The concept of no one gets left behind has revolutionized our entire military doctrine. We have not lost a single ship to the enemy since implementing your training methods." Dr. N added his own perspective. "From a medical standpoint, who have learned human emotional concepts show improved health and faster healing. Caring about others actually makes individuals stronger." Emperor L nodded approvingly. "Your sacrifice has changed our entire civilization. We are still logical, but now we understand that logic without compassion is incomplete." Felt overwhelmed by the magnitude of what had happened. His simple instinct to protect someone in danger had somehow transformed an entire alien empire. "Your Majesty," he said, "I will be honored to serve as ambassador, but I want to make sure Earth understands what this means." "Already arranged," Princess said with a smile. "We have been in contact with your government. Earth has agreed to the alliance." Over the following weeks, delegations from other alien civilizations began arriving at. Word of the human alliance had spread throughout the galaxy. Everyone wanted to understand the species that could inspire such loyalty and courage in others. Found himself busier than he had ever imagined possible. He met with ambassadors from dozens of different worlds, explaining human concepts of honor, sacrifice, and cooperation. Many species found the ideas strange, but they were intrigued by the results they had seen. The aquatic sent scientists to study human psychology. The tree-like wanted to learn about human military tactics. Even former enemies began reaching out, curious about the people who could change hearts and minds with simple acts of kindness. Princess became closest partner in this work. She had experienced human influence firsthand and could explain it to other aliens in ways they could understand. Together, they developed new diplomatic protocols that included human concepts of fairness and protection of the weak. She said one day, as they watched ships from 20 different worlds arrive for a new peace conference, "Do you realize what you have started?" Looked out at the diverse fleet of vessels, each one representing a species that had come to learn about human values. "I never expected anything like this when I threw myself in front of that bomb." "That is exactly why it worked," she replied. "You acted from instinct, from the heart. You showed us that the strongest force in the universe is not technology or weapons, but the willingness to care for others." The new galactic alliance that grew from that moment was unlike anything that had existed before. Instead of being based purely on trade or military necessity, it was founded on shared values of protection and mutual aid. When any member species faced danger, others came to help without calculating personal benefit. The hegemony, isolated and facing multiple enemies who now fought with human-inspired determination, eventually requested peace negotiations. Their own people had begun questioning why they fought for conquest when they could fight for protection instead. The security officer who had once worried about insulting alien dignitaries now sat in council chambers where the fate of the galaxy was decided. His simple human values of courage, compassion, and sacrifice had become the foundation for a new era of peace. And whenever Young asked Princess about the human who had changed everything, she would tell them about the day someone threw himself in front of an explosion to save a stranger, and how that single act of heroism had lit a spark of hope that spread across the stars. The galaxy had learned that humans were not the strongest or species, but they possessed something far more valuable: the unshakable belief that every life mattered, and the courage to act on that belief no matter what the cost.